That's a good intro.
It's episode 5. I'm sure you're used to the old song and dance by now, so I'm gonna cut straight to it. No BS here. We dropped that in episode 4. Episode 5 is now just straight to the point, hardcore dev on dev discussions between myself and the British Bulldog Philip Tejan.
That's me. That's my wrestler name.
That is. I think it's been taken.
Yeah, I think it has. I think it definitely has, but...
He's dead, so you can...
Oh, Jesus
Christ. I don't...
Distasteful.
I'm sorry. It's just facts.
Shame on you. Excuse you.
I'm sorry. But that's what you're dealing with in episode 5.
Yeah, episode 4 was really serious, and now episode 5... Well, you heard last week that Keith was stopped caring, and this is when Keith has completely stopped caring now.
Or maybe I care too much.
Yeah, we've reached new depths.
Yes. So, hi, I'm glad you're with us for the podcast that, of course, records and releases on Fridays.
Yes, definitely.
And you might be able to tell that there's a difference in energy level, and that's because we have decided to record earlier in the day. We were having a little bit of an issue recording at night because, I don't know, we're both pathetic.
Oh, just so fucking tired.
We just get so tired. I mean, you have no excuse. You're, like, in your mid-20s. You should have plenty of youthful energy left.
I wish. I don't know what happened to me. I've just never been youthful my entire life.
Maybe it's the kids.
Yeah, they suck away my life force every day.
How many years do you think a single child ages you?
I would go with 5.
5?
Yeah, 5 years is my standard. Like, each kid you have just ages you 5 years.
All right, so we're close. You're actually older than me then.
Yeah,
in that case,
I mean,
so.
I used to have hair before I had children, and then
It's true.
that's when I lost it all.
When I was looking at pictures of you, because I was doing thumbnails, and I was like, let's see what we have for Phil. And I was looking at your pictures from when you started college. I was like, wow. Like, you can't even see signs of it at that point. Well,
at certain angles, and depending on what pictures you find, you can see, like, it's starting to go back a little bit. I got told, that's why I cut it short. I used to have a lot longer hair. And then when you have longer hair and it's receding, it becomes much more sad. So that's why I cut it shorter. And, like, you know, it was gradually progressing or just kind of, like, stagnating a little bit. You couldn't tell that I was, like, consistently balding over time with my short hair. But when I had kids, it just all came out.
Just immediately.
Yeah, like it just sped up so
like Homer
quickly.
Simpson.
That's what I always think of when is Homer Simpson, like, each time getting pregnant, just ripping his hair out until he has his little strands of hair. That's basically what I have in my head right now.
Sorry if that was a touchy point for you.
No, it's fine. I just get a little sad every time I think about it.
But yes, so recording at night really wasn't working out too well for us. And that was no more evident than in episode 4, where near the end, when I was editing it, I could just tell we were just completely drained.
Oh, I knew when we were talking. I could see the look on your face too. Like, I was like, is he gonna fall asleep again this week?
I was holding it together.
Yeah. And there were just some times where, like, you just asked me a question or you said something and I would just look at you and I'm like, I have no idea. I have no idea. Just keep going.
Yeah. But we do it for you.
Yeah.
The beautiful audience.
Yeah, and it's been hit or miss. Sometimes we come here and we're full of energy and we get through it pretty well. And we have fantastic episodes like episode 2.
Episode 2. We're just going to keep...
Yeah.
Every single episode from here on forth, we're just going to mention episode 2.
Episode 2 and episode 3 were good. Episode 2 was like the real banger of energy that was off the rails. And then episode 3 was, I think, just really on topic and on point. I think we did a good job of not being too crazy.
But episode 4 was better than episode 1.
It was better than episode 1. As long as everything's better than episode 1. And now I think episode 4 is probably my benchmark now. I really hope everything's better than episode 4.
That is our promise to you, that we will make better content than episode 4. Although, I don't know, should we be, like, shit-talking ourselves? I feel as though we should be hyping ourselves up.
No, I mean, well, we can hype ourselves up, like, for upcoming things, so we can tell people, like, oh, episode 6 is going to be the best episode yet, but then episode 7 will be like, oh, we actually just lied. It's such a piece of pile of crap.
I don't know. Did Microsoft ever mention how bad Vista was afterwards, or did they just maintain that Vista was a passable OS?
I don't remember. I think they always just remained silent on it, which was probably just like a silent nod of like, yeah, you guys are right.
And maybe we should have done that,
yeah.
But it's too late now.
Yeah,
it's being recorded.
They'll never admit it until the next OS needs to come out, and they say, yeah, it was a pile of crap, but have you heard about Windows 7?
I have.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Windows 7 was solid.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. We've decided to change the format up a little bit this episode.
Yeah.
Because I felt Wins of the Week was too much pressure.
It was
too much pressure to win.
Yeah, and we at this on Friday Night Deploys, we don't win. We lose a lot. So
yeah, my week is just chock full of failures, so it's really tough to pull out the wins from that. So we're switching things up a little bit, and we're just gonna talk about what we did.
Yeah, it's just
not necessarily a win.
Catch up with Keith and Phil, and that's pretty much what I've been using it for anyway.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, because I didn't have any wins, so I was like, well, what if I just talk about this instead? I did something.
It's true. We've all done something.
Yeah, we've all done. In this week, we've all done something. It's a good one.
Do you want to start?
Sure, I can start. I spent some time doing some data recovery on my girlfriend's old MacBook Pro. I forget what year it is, but it's a real chunky fucker.
That was my nickname in high school.
Like it's just so weird. Like it's not any heavier than like the MacBook Pros that we have for work necessarily, and maybe it's a little heavier, but like they're just the thickness of it, and it's not as wide either.
It's girthy.
Just this big, yeah, it's just this block. So it's very strange opening that up. The one thing I'll say about it though is that it doesn't make you feel like scared when you lean your wrist on like the edge of it or something, or the corner of it. You don't feel like you're gonna like snap the motherboard or something. Like it's just solid. It's just all solid metal. They probably didn't worry too much about travel and making the thinnest laptop possible. But that was a pain in the ass because the display's broken on the laptop, and it couldn't get fixed because everything is so ingrained to like the motherboard or something. I remember we took it to a repair guy, I think a couple of years back, and he was like, yeah, you have to replace the entire board, which is going to cost you $700. And so that's not worth this machine. It's very old. So it's just been kind of sitting around for a long time. And then finally my girlfriend was like, hey, when are you going to take all my pictures off? So I did that. So I just hooked up an HDMI cable to it with one of my monitors and then got to town. And that was just a nightmare, mostly because of my own stupidity at first. So when I get so mad when things randomly break that it just stresses me out, and then the rest of my hair falls out. I was plugging in the HDMI cable, unplugging it from my computer, and I have things behind my computer in such a way to like manage the cables and tie some things together so the cats don't get at them. So getting that out and just plugging that into the MacBook Pro through an adapter was already a pain in the ass. And then all of a sudden my monitor wasn't turning on at all, and I was like just shitting myself, being like, oh no, like why is this breaking? This is my good monitor. Why is it breaking? I can't afford a new monitor now. And after just like swearing and just like pissing around, I realized that I had like, I guess like tugged or like stepped on the wire, and it just pulled the power cable a little bit out of the monitor. So that was me stressing over nothing. And then I guess back in the day, she was using this application called iPhotos, which is a discontinued software that I think Apple used to use for their like cloud photo storing stuff. It's a nightmare of an application looking at it. There's no rhyme or reason. It's if I could describe it perfectly, it's like if Finder was a photo library.
That is a terrifying thought.
Yeah, it's awful. It's the worst way to look at pictures or find pictures, especially if you have over 1,000 pictures. And, you know, just like the good old Finder, it's very difficult to find which directory you need to go in or where anything is stored properly. So just locating where the local files were stored for the iPhoto stuff was also a nightmare. There doesn't seem to be much about iPhoto online, despite it being, you know, a software that used to exist at some point. But then we finally found out that if you just go to Finder and you just filter like by a specific media when you're uploading something to like Google Photos or something, you can just literally just filter everything out by like images or movies that were displayed in iPhotos. So I had to just drag and drop all of those photos and then just plop them into Google Photos and watch 1,000 images just upload into an album.
Now, the real question. Was there anything worth recovering?
Yeah, no, that was the problem. So, like, there's a good chunk of stuff that is valuable. There's, like, some baby pictures of my daughter that was only on there, and she took a bunch of that. through her, like, she used to have like an iPhone, and I don't think you can even access iPhotos or Apple Photos like in a browser like you can Google Photos. So I think you're locked out of accessing your images unless you have an Apple device, which sucks. Because with Google Photos, you can at least just go to the browser and just log in.
Yeah.
Which is what we did. But there's a lot of just random, just junky photos. But like, there's so many of them that I was like, we're just gonna drag and drop all of them. You can filter through them later on your own when you go through the backed up folder.
That's fair. Every time that I've gotten like a new PC, I think about transferring data and I think about like the photos and stuff. I'm just like, they're just gonna sit in a directory somewhere, and I might revisit them like once every 4 years and be like, yep, that was a fun time.
Yeah, I have a few backed up images or directories from like previous like machines, but I have like one directory or a bunch of pictures that I really wish I did have that got lost in a different kind of way. I think just the hard drive just broke. I don't keep everything either.
I just did a lot of dumb stuff when I was younger, and the less evidence of it, the better. I think it's my thought process.
You mean like starting a podcast?
Yeah, that was one of my biggest regrets of the last 10 years.
Yeah. It's just so terrible. Don't ever do it.
And once you start it, you have to commit to it, and then this is just my life now. It just never stops.
Yeah.
Every week, it's like, oh, another episode? Episode 5?
It's like one big recurring joke.
Speaking of recurring jokes, our website's out. It's not,
You
but
can't say that. You can't say that.
I'm speaking it into the universe because by the time this episode gets deployed, because, Friday night deploys.
Right.
Yeah.
Deploy the episode.
So I think the site will be out.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, it's probably.
Do you have any more? Do you have any more things you did this week?
Yeah, I did. One of the reasons why episode 4 was so bad is because we were missing a very
Stop
key...
saying that.
a very key point, a very key talking point.
It wasn't that bad.
It was terrible.
You're remembering it wrong. I had to listen to it like 4 times while editing it, so it wasn't that bad.
Well, if you're listening, tell us. You should have a vote meter or something. How bad was episode 4? And that would be on every vote meter we ever have. The same question.
You can't be saying these things because then I'm just going to stress about it and I'm just going to go delete episode 4 from existence. And then this will be episode 4.
People need to know. They need a low benchmark. They need a low bar. So they can be like, wow, episode 5 is the best one.
Listen, people are very invested in us. And to have that dark smear.
Like episode 4? I'm going to call it that now, the dark smear.
On the underpants of our discography, our podcastography. We can't have that.
Yeah.
We need to be flawless.
Yeah, but I did find out the missing key.
What's that?
And it's your favorite key, is that we didn't talk about anime.
Oh, God.
So my apologies to everyone listening that didn't come up somehow. I don't know how we missed that. So I'm really sorry. Keith really should have edited in an anime section to it. But I played a game called Jump Force from the Game Pass. And let me tell you, that game is bad. There's not a single thing really good about that game. But I played it. I installed it. You start off and you create your own little anime character. The character creation is not good. And I thought this would be I don't usually make myself in video games, but I had to make like the anime teen version of myself, and it's really bad. I don't know why they did what they did with that game, because like they've done like it's like there's a series called J-Stars basically, and this is like what that series is involved in. It's just like a dumb arcade like anime fighting game, and it's really bad. But like for this one, they like did this really weird like Unreal 4 engine like demo quote unquote realistic sort of like artwork for everything. And it just makes all the characters look even worse because none of them fit. And they all have different art styles, but none of them fit. And it just looks really weird. The only good thing I'll say about it is that you get to have all kinds of wacky characters just that you can just choose from and go, oh, I remember that character. That was fun. But yeah, that's a dumb game.
Well, you've officially made episode 5 the episode I'm most embarrassed about.
Thank you. Other than that, I just played more Remnants of the Ashes, and then I messed around with Darksiders 3 just last night.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
So productive.
Yeah, I've had real productive time.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's all I really got up to.
You No wins. Good thing we took that section
Yeah,
out.
exactly. Yeah, that's why we took it out, because that's like, I don't actually have any wins.
Well, you worked on the site.
Yeah, I did work on the site a bit more. I think I've made a few more changes, and then you looked at some PRs and stuff. I think, which is why we're so bold in saying that it's going to be out by the time this comes out. But
All right, so my week.
yeah, what did you get up to?
Not a whole lot.
No?
No, not really. I'm trying to think. I entered a hot sauce eating contest.
Sorry, a hot sauce eating contest?
Yeah.
So not like a chicken wing contest with hot sauce.
I mean,
it's just hot sauce?
No, there was chicken wings.
Okay.
The chicken wings were merely the platform in which the hot sauce traveled into my mouth.
Ew. But
That was, probably the grossest way I could have put it. No, I probably could have come up with something grosser. But
yeah, you could have.
yes, there was hot sauce, there's chicken wings, there was a contest with no winners or losers. All of us, I guess, were kind of losers
Yeah,
the next day.
Yeah, I was gonna say you would be. I would just tap out in the first one.
Yeah, it was all right up until like the end when we got to Da Bomb. It's called Da Bomb.
Uh-huh.
If you're familiar with the Hot Ones show on YouTube, they always have Da Bomb on there, and someone brought it, and it was so offensive. Like, not only was it just stupid hot, but it tasted like cigarette ashes.
That sounds like what I would expect it to
Like,
be when you're eating a hot sauce contest. Like that's the lineup I would expect.
I don't know. On the site, they describe it as a smoky flavor, and I'm like, that's a little bit of an understatement.
It's just ash.
It tastes like how my mom's house smelled.
It tastes like
She was-
remnants of the ashes.
Yeah, she was just a aggressive chain smoker, and it just like they just bottled that up, made it a hot sauce.
It's when you really just grabbed a bottle that someone was just emptying their cigarette ashes into.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if someone told me that. I'd be like, yeah, that's definitely what I just ate.
Makes sense.
At first, it wasn't bad because like I had just like a little pile of it, and I just
Yeah.
like dipped the wing into it and ate it. But then I ate a wing that was soaked in it. That's when it got bad.
Okay, let's talk about the semantics of this tournament because now I'm a little more. So like, was it like how many people were competing?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Like, was it like a restaurant-wide thing? Was it just like a group of friends sort of thing?
It was at my old office.
Okay. So it was more like a private.
Yeah,
private
so I
thing.
was just visiting, and this happened to be taking place. This tournament.
Did they have like a tournament tree? Did you face off against things, or was it just who
No.
could go the furthest?
Everyone just stood around a table and ate chicken wings.
Okay. Was it just a big communal pile of chicken wings that you would just plop on your plate, put a little bit of whatever the hot sauce was on, and then eat that? Is that how you would go each round?
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty unofficial.
Okay.
Like everyone kind of just had a plate, and then there was a big bowl of wings, and some people put the sauce on the plate and dipped the wing in it, and some people put the sauce on the wing.
Okay.
There was really no rules.
So did you lose by tapping out?
No, I went all the way.
No, not you specifically, but like, is that
yeah,
how you would lose?
Yeah, just chaos.
Okay, so just funsies.
There was one guy, he just went like burgundy red after eating the bomb.
God.
I was like, I think he's gonna die.
Just
was
like a
like-
Looney Tunes character.
Yeah. He was like keeled over. And his like girlfriend was like rubbing his back.
Oh,
and, like,
God.
it was rough. For me, like my mouth just went numb,
Yeah.
and like I couldn't control my drool, and like spittle just kept
Yeah.
leaking out of my mouth. Felt like I was at the dentist. It was
Well, yeah, because that's what happens. I think you just go numb in a sense.
yeah. Linkin Park said it best.
Yeah. Did you just start singing it while drooling everywhere?
I did. So that was. I don't know if you would consider that a win. I didn't lose.
Well,
so
you said you went all the way,
I did.
right? Yeah.
I was like one of 3 people. That
I would
went all the
consider
way.
that a win if it was an actual contest.
That's not fair. I
No,
did
it's
all of
not.
them.
You
I did all the sauces.
You did do all of them.
I went back to the bomb twice.
You really? Why did you do it twice?
Well, because I said the first time I had a little dab of it, and the second time I just ate a wing that was soaked in it.
Oh, right. Why? But why did you do that?
Because my friend did it.
Oh, okay.
And,
Because that's what you do.
yeah.
When
You know,
someone
they-
does something, you do it too.
like, hey, if they jumped off a bridge, would you? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I don't have a choice.
They did it. I saw
can't-
them do it, so now I have to do it. I don't think you get how this works. And that's to always follow.
Yeah, always be a follower. That's what I've learned in life.
If you're-
Leadership is for chumps.
If you're listening, just follow the closest person to you.
And follow us on all of our social media channels.
Yeah. What we say is gospel. Is that what they say?
Sure.
Yeah. So just
Someone
always
said
follow.
that.
Always follow. Nothing has ever come wrong of just blindly following specific people and their worldview. So
Should we start a Dev Plebs cult?
yes. That'll be a hidden link in the footer of the website when it comes out. So keep a lookout for that. It just says join cult in like flashing GIF.
It's perfect.
Uncle Sam, just we need you.
Yeah.
But it has like our face photoshopped on it or a beanie on it.
A beanie on Uncle Sam.
Yeah. Beanie Sam.
You know what? That's something I miss from the old days of the internet, is just the obnoxiously flashing things. Just everything's just flashing or spinning on the page.
Yeah. It was a real magical time going onto a site and just seeing just really crappy flashing, spinning images or just like Goku GIFs all over the place.
That was my first website.
Yeah.
It was just Dragon Ball Z GIFs on a page.
That's so good.
And it was like impossible to load because I just put all of them on a page. And like not just GIFs, but like video clips as well.
Oh, really?
Which, let me tell you, back in 1998, I had to, like, if I wanted a single video clip to download from the internet, like, I was spending like 3 hours downloading that clip.
Yeah.
Just to slap it on my own site and have someone need to spend 3 hours downloading it from me.
I'm surprised you were just making HTML pages with a bunch of Goku GIFs on it in the first place. Was there a reason to it?
I like Dragon Ball Z.
You like Dragon Ball Z, yeah. I mean, I like Dragon Ball Z too, but I didn't spin up HTML pages.
Yeah, but you made AMVs, which is worse.
I did when I was 12 or 13, or maybe even younger. I think I can't remember now. I made 4 AMVs, I think, and I only 2 or 3 of them are on YouTube. So that's my challenge to the audience. If you can find my Dragon Ball AMVs, they're under a different account name.
Then we will quit this podcast.
And
That's it.
Link it back to me.
It's our self-destruct button.
You could mention me on Twitter and with my embarrassing YouTube Dragon Ball Z AMVs.
Yeah. I watched Us yesterday.
What's that?
It was a movie by director Jordan Peele. It was his follow-up to Get Out.
I'm not sure I'm even familiar with Get Out, actually.
Well, it's on Netflix now, if you want to get familiar
Is it a movie?
It is.
Okay. Was it good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
This is going nowhere.
Should we get to our subject, our topic?
We should get to our subject,
Yeah.
our topic.
Our topic. Speaking of going down random side conversations about people who were in movies, we're going to talk about side projects this week. How was that? Was that good?
No. Like,
Was that good?
we had a really good segue in episode 1.
Was that like the only good segue?
It has been the only
Because
good
I think
segue.
you've mentioned me being good with a segue every single episode, and it's been a terrible segue.
How about this?
I'm
Nope.
listening.
Got nothing.
No, you got nothing? Okay.
Speaking of... No.
Nope,
Just
you
go.
lost it again. Yeah, I don't know. We thought we could talk about side projects. I know a lot of people do side projects when they're in development. I do.
Do they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Do you?
I mean, I do. I
You
try.
do side projects?
I try to.
From the sound of your week, it doesn't sound like it.
I take breaks. I wait till I get struck with some kind of...
Inspiration?
Yeah, perfect. The inspiration, that was the word I was looking for.
You're welcome.
I don't know, there are different times where I feel like the crunch or the pressure to do side projects, and there are times where I've just decided to let go and go, no, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to do whatever I want to do over the course of the week and not worry about this. But yeah, side projects, people do them. We've done them, I think.
Yeah.
And I know people have, some people have issues with them.
And that's why there's like 10,000 articles that are like, here's 15 side projects for beginners.
Exactly.
And like a lot of the times they're not for beginners.
Yeah, I know. That's what I noticed too.
And then they like provide no context on how you would possibly approach their idea. They just throw an idea out into the universe and they're like, here you go.
This
it.
will be helpful because of this.
I don't know. That's a pretty big expectation to have like no launching point. Like for me, when I started developing, I had a lot of ambitions and like a lot of ambitious ideas of things I wanted to make with no clue on how to actually make it. And like no idea on like what I would search to find the information that I needed to come up with the ideas in my head. And it was kind of like when I started playing guitar. Like I was really into metal music and like I loved guitar solos. But you can't just start learning guitar and jump immediately into like shredding. Like it doesn't happen.
You can't just pick it up and just go.
You need to do Smoke on the Water and then you need to move eventually up to Come As You Are by Nirvana.
And
then you're in shredding.
Yeah, now you can shred.
Yeah, that's it.
But just there's just two things, and then you have to learn.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with side projects, depending on what you want to do.
Yeah.
But like the ideas I had, there was a lot of steps that I needed to take to be able to get to that point.
Yeah, and I've had that problem too, where like, I don't know, you need to do a lot of research to like figure out what you need to do a lot of times. So like, you want to find the best, whether it's like a specific library you want to take advantage of, or maybe the best language that you want to do it in. So, are there any side projects you're fond of, Keith, that you want to talk about?
Of my own side projects?
Yeah.
Of someone else's side projects.
You can steal other people's side projects if you want.
Some people have some great side projects. Yeah. Mine, not so much. I have this really bad habit of coming up with really stupid ideas for my side projects. I don't like building serious stuff. I don't know if that's a problem.
I'm jealous, actually. I wish I could do that, because they're more interesting, the ones that you come up with.
So I guess the first one that pops to my mind, which unfortunately is no longer on the internet, because I didn't want to pay for it, and I'm cheap, so...
Yeah.
But it was, I think I still own the domain, so it could still come back to the internet in some capacity someday. And that is isthisadog.com. It's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Basically, you visit the page, and there's an upload button. And you click it, and you select a picture from your device that you're browsing the site on, and then the site will let you know if that picture is of a dog, and the confidence level that picture...
The confidence level?
The confidence level.
I didn't know there was a confidence level.
There was. Image recognition, it can only give you how confident it is that the picture is something. It can't say with absolute certainty.
I just love that an image recognition software has the word confidence with it. Like, I'm not really confident. It might be a dog, I don't know. Do you have to like give it pep talks before you upload?
Yeah,
just the dog.
Here, you just gotta give them a little boost of confidence.
Yeah, you can do it. Here's a like. Here's a subscribe. Come on, you can do it.
But yeah, so basically, I had used a image recognition library called OpenCV. There's a really smart guy that made Node.js bindings for it, which is nice because it's a very powerful image recognition tool, and he made it run on Node. Good for him.
Yeah, how predictable.
Yeah, everything eventually becomes JavaScript.
Yeah, exactly.
So for the actual model for doing the image recognition against, there was one by TensorFlow, which luckily already had like 300 dogs trained to be recognized as part of the model. So I didn't have to do any of the training myself. I just used theirs, and I was like, yeah, that's probably most dogs.
You just stood on the backs of other 300 dogs.
Yeah.
To get where you are today.
Exactly. And I thought it was hilarious because I was like, what a dumb thing. And then I heard that the show Silicon Valley had, I think it was like, it was something similar to like tell if something was a picture of a hot dog.
Yes, it was like a hot dog or something, yeah.
I think it was called like Hot Dog or Not or something. I'm not sure. I haven't made it to that season yet.
Yeah.
But I heard about that and I was like, those bastards, they stole my idea.
Yeah.
And then I found out the episode came out before I made Is This a Dog?
Oh, no.
And then I just felt like I stole from them, even though I had never seen it.
That always sucks when that happens, because it's not like now you're just afraid to tell people about it, because they're going to be like, oh, wow, real original, real funny, Keith. I see you've watched this show.
And I found this out because there was a lunch and learn happening at my old work one time, and they're actually using the exact same setup as I did with
really?
the OpenCV for Node.js and the same TensorFlow model.
That's funny.
But they were using it just to do Hot Dog or Not from Silicon Valley. And I was like, wow, that's weirdly close to Is This a Dog? And yeah, I'm just a filthy thief. So...
yeah, it's out there. You've heard it here. Keith is the dirty thief.
Yeah, I'll steal your heart.
Stop it.
I'm sorry.
You're going to make everyone worried.
Swoon? Oh,
swoon.
We went different ways with that. All right. How about you? Is there any side project that you're particularly fond of?
I have
of your own.
Yes, of my own, of course. I wouldn't steal. I just tell other people to steal.
Wow. All right.
I'm an influencer. Steal everyone.
More like influenza.
Influenza. What is that?
Like a flu.
Okay.
Like a sickness.
I'm not gonna do it.
You're gonna do it down with the sickness reference. That's fine.
You could see me.
Yeah,
holding
I saw
it back.
in your face. Good work. Good work on keeping that internalized.
It was really difficult.
That song really just ruined the word sickness.
It is. I think every time we say sickness, one of us makes a reference to it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Side project.
Side projects. I have one really early side project that I'm fond of. I made I don't have any cool ideas like you do, unfortunately. I always struggle with this. So I was a boring boy, and I made a little CMS.
Portfolio site.
I made a portfolio site in Gatsby.
You and every other person.
Yeah, everyone. We've all been there. We've all done it.
It's a rite of passage.
It is. We mentioned
you
that
don't
in episode
have-
3,
yeah.
I think.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
a rite of passage, yeah.
Wow. Sorry.
Which we never,
Recycling jokes.
yeah, we
That's-
never claimed what it was a rite of passage for, though. For having a portfolio, or?
No, for being a web developer.
Oh, okay.
If you don't have a Gatsby portfolio,
Then
you're not a real web developer.
Well, that's some real gatekeeping.
Yeah, I love being a gatekeeper.
Yeah. Remember, follow everything people say and gatekeep people out of everything.
Yeah, especially newbies.
Exclusivity is the new thing now. People will love you if you're just really exclusive and not inclusive.
Also, I feel so we should say that we're joking.
Yes, we are joking. We
I
are
hope
being
nobody takes us seriously.
No, they'll just take
Anything we say.
Yeah. I was gonna say if you just take like that snippet of us talking and then just post it somewhere, then people will get mad.
Yeah,
but
without context.
maybe you could add the context, and maybe people would
That's
hate
true.
it too. I don't know.
And you know what? If you want to go ahead and do that, that's fine. We need to generate some controversy. That's how you get engagement.
Yeah, that's how we get we rocket into the stratosphere of viral sensations.
Yes. If worse comes to worse, we'll just release a sex tape.
Yeah. So look forward to that. If you notice that the content's kind of low, get ready for the sex tape.
I know you're all eagerly awaiting.
It's gonna be on. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be under the. I have a description of saying this will be deleted soon. Please watch.
I don't want to. Let's not go there. Let's not visit that.
We're gonna get
Visit that path
We're gonna
yet.
get demonetized before we even
That's-
make any money.
That's some real episode 4
Oh yes.
stuff.
real- Let's not lower ourselves to episode 4 standards, please. All right.
We're on to bigger and better things. What was this side project?
I
CMS.
I made a CMS and I made it with I
what
made it
does
with
CMS stand for? Phil?
content management system. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Just like, I actually have no idea.
Shit. Connecticut mounting systems.
Connecticut?
Yeah.
That was the
Connecticut.
first C word that came to your mind?
There was another one, but I wasn't going to say
Okay.
it. Let's keep this PG. So I made a CMS, and I made it with React, like, big surprise. And it was, like, connected to a Firebase real-time database. And this one, I was fond of it because it was the very first side project that I actually, like, continued to work on, I care about, and actually, like, kind of got somewhere with it. Like, it wasn't just, like, before that I had a lot of failed GitHub repositories or just a bunch of failed create React apps that were just a bunch of bootstrap, like, buttons or just, like, containers all over the place.
So you just had a whole cemetery of just dead repos.
There was so many panels. There were just so many panels everywhere. And I think I just never got past them because I was like new to React at the time. And I just kept running into like certain brick walls of the ways that I wanted things to be rendered out or the way I wanted to behave on the page. And then I just gave up.
Giving up is just so much easier than putting effort in.
It is because like I would get frustrated for like an hour. I'm like, fuck this. I want to go play a video game.
I'm gonna go play Jump Force.
My Jump Force. This happened the other week actually. My first side project was the other week. Yeah, and so like it was kind of built to be like I guess sort of like a headless CMS, I guess, in a sense that it was literally just creating a real-time database in Firebase, and then you could just use that for whatever you wanted. And like I had gone as far as to like I started out making like a little sidebar, I made a little dashboard, and then you could create like content types that you would name yourself, and you would give it like a specific data type that you want it to be, and that would change like the input. I don't know. I had a whole thing. I had like you would create templates for like content, so then you would generate a form that you could generate other text inputs, so you could have like a label, a name, and the input that it would use. So you could create like a content type for like pages, let's say, and let's say a page can have like a title and like a content box, and then maybe like a date box. And then you create another content type of like, I don't know, if you're making a portfolio, maybe you could have a content type of like skills. So like, and I started making it with React Strap, which is a UI library in React for Bootstrap 4. And I was having a lot of trouble making it not look like garbage. It just looked really like placeholdery. I couldn't get like a sidebar to like work properly because, I don't know, there was some like, with React Strap it used like Papa.js still, and there were some things that were still tied to like the way Bootstrap's JavaScript worked or something like that. So like, even though I was using React, I couldn't necessarily take full power of like what the UI library was offering without just using some of their own stuff. So then I ended up like just switching over to Material UI, and this was like a beta version of Material UI as well that I built it in, and it helped it look a little better than it used to. And then I kept going from there, and I made this whole like strange sort of like service layer for like retrieving data from like the real-time database to get the specific like leafs I needed, because the real-time database is just like one big JSON file.
Yeah.
And I remember it was such a pain in the ass with how like deeply I had everything nested to structure the way it was worked, to like have all the templates and like all the configured inputs that I could like retrieve and stuff. And like if you try to like update or just edit an existing like leaf, like just a property in that, then like the whole object will just only have that one value. So I'd have to do like a sort of GET request to get like that specific object, and then I'd have to edit the object, and then when the edit, I would have to take the entire object and push it back up or something. And the deeper everything got, the more of a hassle that became. That was definitely one of the downfalls of that application. It was probably the first one I did that I was actually like kind of happy to show people or like have on like some kind of like portfolio. It's not on there now. I feel like every now and then I should like go back up to it and clean it up a little bit.
Seems like a pretty ambitious side project to take on for one of your first.
It was, but I learned a whole lot from it. It was a real good time.
You learned that React Strap.
React Straps. It was yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
not for me. Not for this. Don't build a CMS in React Strap. Maybe. It was all part of one giant ambitious plan to make a CMS and then make a portfolio site that would be powered by the CMS. I don't know why I thought that was ever a realistic goal, because I actually did start doing that. I completed it to the point where I could just store like strings of like a nice form, and then I just started trying to power a website with that, and then I got like halfway through. Actually, no, I got more than halfway through building that site, and then I was like, I don't even like the look of this, and everything about this sucks. So I just canned it.
But you still did it.
I did it, and that's what mattered. It was a lot of fun doing it, and I think it has 1 GitHub star.
Well, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's an important takeaway, is that if you're working on a side project, it doesn't need to be like a production-ready app. It can just be messing around.
Yeah, definitely not. Don't stress about it being production-ready, especially if you're like one of your first side projects.
Yeah, you can build a CMS system and use it for whatever reason to power your own portfolio, like Phil did.
Yeah. Like I said, I learned a lot from it. And it was early on in my goings of React and JavaScript, so I got to learn some really good mistakes to make where it didn't matter, because I feel like that's one of the good things about a side project, is that you can do really horrible mistakes and be like, oh, well, good thing
that wasn't
good thing
a production-ready app.
Good thing that wasn't in my full-time job where I just ruined this entire thing.
Cool.
Yeah, that was my first one, and I'm fond of that one. I'll never get rid of it. It'll always stay in my GitHub. I called it React Base CMS, I think.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, it does. Do you have any other ones that you might be fond of?
Yes.
What is it?
Oh, you want me to tell you?
Yeah, I want you to tell.
No, okay. I thought you didn't ask that.
Keep it to yourself.
So I had one. This one, I guess, was like less dumb. It was still dumb, but less dumb.
I'll be the judge of that.
Okay.
And the audience will also be the judge of that.
Be the gatekeeper you were born to be.
That's a good t-shirt.
And that website was called, and this one's still up, so you can still visit this one. It's called whyistheinternetmad.com.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, it just queries Twitter You can search whatever you want. There's a search box, and it also pulls up the trending tags, so you can see what the top trending stuff is, and select one of those if you don't want to search for something. And essentially it grabs the past 100 tweets about that topic, and then runs sentiment analysis on those tweets to let you know how the internet feels about things. And it uses the AFIN lexicon to perform sentiment analysis.
I'm familiar.
Sentiment analysis, I should say.
Can you say that thing again? The AFIN.
Yes, AFINN.
Oh, I didn't need you to spell it. I just wanted you to say it again.
AFIN.
AFIN.
Lexicon. You can look it up.
I will.
No, you're not.
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay. Yeah. So that was kind of cool to just run a little bit of sentiment analysis. But there is one major problem, and that is the AFIN lexicon doesn't do like look ahead to like next words. It just gives words rankings. I think it's on a +10 to -10 scale, where it's just like the word love. They're like, yep, that's 8 points.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of just give rankings to different words, but it doesn't actually take the context. I don't know if you know this, but people on the internet talk like a bunch of bozos.
Do we talk like a bunch of bozos?
We do.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it's really hard to perform a meaningful sentiment analysis on a 280 character tweet. And especially because everyone talks in wildly different ways, and it can't take any context of what they're saying. It just ranks the individual words.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, for example, something positive might be like, I want to suck that.
Yep, that's a very common thing you hear and see on Twitter a lot.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, but like the lexicon would realize that the word suck is negative. So that would have a negative score, when really it would be a positive sentiment.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, no. I don't want to downplay it. It sounds like a really cool. I'm actually, again, I'm spoilers. I know of these side projects that Keith has done because he showed me when he was doing them back in the day. I like that one a lot. I liked your Why Is the Internet Mad? I feel like yours had a lot of like showability. Like people would stumble upon your side projects and people would be like, "Oh, look what Keith did. This is funny. This is a good little side. This is funny."
Yeah.
But I did like Why Is the Internet Mad? I think that was a fun thing.
Yeah. Sorry for that horrible example. That was really the only thing that came to mind.
Yeah, the first one that comes into Keith's mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I really wish I could have come up with a better example, but that's all I had, and that's what is recorded now, and will be going into this podcast. I am sorry.
There's no such thing as editing. Once we say things, they go up to the internet.
Yeah, it's carved in stone.
Yeah. Yeah, I have one more. You
have one more? God, here we go.
It won't be long, though. It'll be a quick one.
Okay.
It was probably my most recent side project that I did, was where I made like a Netflix-y sort of app for giant bombs content. They have, which is a...
It sounded like you said giant bong.
Really? Giant bomb. Like a bomb. Like
spell it.
Like the GIANTBOMB.
Giant bomb.
Giant bomb.
Ding ding. That's correct.
Yeah, so they're like I don't know what to describe them. They're kind of like a video game reviewing site. They do a lot of, they don't really do that many reviews these days. It's kind of like an older format, but they do a lot of coverage on like the industry and stuff, and they have a lot of dumb shows, and they have an API. So I was like, I'm a big fan of the site, so I'm going to make my own little sort of Netflix-y app for all of their content. And I started making it with Gatsby because I just enjoyed the performance that they have.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. I mean, this is really predictable, and has PWA stuff, and I really wanted to kind of mess around with the PWA stuff a bit more that they were offering, and I was very comfortable with it. So I kept going with that, and there wasn't really too much to detail other than I just pulled in content from their API, and then I pushed it out in my own little design and structures, and it worked. It was cool. I just used an embedded player from that stuff, and I was happy with it because I kind of like kept all the designs. It doesn't look that fantastic, but I designed most of it myself, and I just used
React Strap.
No, I used React Strap again. Gave it another go. There were no panels this time around. This was all, I just used, I think emotion styled, and I just did everything myself, which was kind of a pain in the ass. And it doesn't look fantastic or polished, but I was able to make something look okay. So that was fun. I will say, one of the bullshits that I had to deal with of this app was that I put way too much of their API data into the Gatsby source stuff. So if you're messing around with Gatsby and you're in love with all their source stuff of inputting data into their little GraphQL layer, don't put too much. There's a limit. There's a limit to what you can put in there. I put so much. I put like, I think 1,000 or something, like records of their videos into the source layer, and that included. What you can also do is you can they have an API for like downloading remote images from an API as well, so that way you can get it so it gets processed through the image shop stuff that Gatsby uses.
Yeah.
So I did that for all the videos too. So on build, it had to load all this data, and then it had to download all these images, and then it would have to, render them out on Image Shop, which, if you're listening, Giant Bomb, all right, some of you guys are uploading GIFs as your video thumbnails and stuff, and Image Shop doesn't like that. So don't stop it. Yeah. Please.
They're definitely listening, and they're definitely going to take this feedback to heart.
I'm like, sorry, we'll go back and remove those. But yeah, so like that's my only thing I want to say about that is like there's a limit to what you're putting into the source, and if you're working on a Gatsby site, it's not limitless.
Yeah. Also, don't use GIFs.
Don't use GIFs
unless it needs to be animated.
I think they were animated thumbnails. Oh, yeah, they do some real dumb stuff over there.
That's quirky.
It's great.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, that's really all I had. Do you have any quick tips for anyone out there for how to come up with side projects? You come up with some really nice creative ones. How do you do it?
Well, my head is just constantly full of just
great ideas.
Yeah. Well, I hope that was said with a layer of sarcasm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always had this ability to just have really stupid ideas. And becoming a web developer has been great because it has given me a way of manifesting these stupid shit posts in my head into actual, tangible, usable applications.
That is true. It's a good expression of art, web development.
Yes. I'm glad that you called what I do art. I'm glad you recognize.
It is, right?
So really, I guess if you're starting out, like, it's good to be ambitious. Like, fill with this CMS. It's a very good learning opportunity. You're going to learn a lot of mistakes. You're going to bash your head against the wall a bunch. But when you come out the other side, you'll be better. Yeah, you'll be better for it.
It's good, and it's also a problem I have. I try and be way too ambitious with so many of my side projects that a small amount of them have made it to some kind of tangible thing that I have a repository for. And a lot of them are just like, I need to think smaller.
Yeah, but one way to incrementally approach, like if you do have a very ambitious idea, is just like have different pieces of it be your goal. Like, don't be like, I need the full functional thing. Just be like, hey, I'm going to do a front end. I'm going to design some pages. Or, hey, I'm just going to like make an API. And then be able to like call and retrieve the data that you're expecting. Like, do everything, like, don't approach it all as one giant piece. Like, break it up into different little domains and work on it individually, because you're going to have a much easier time developing a side project if you have it in small little goals versus approaching it head on.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And especially if they're split up into different little micro apps, then like, it's not like you ever have that one thing in progress that you don't feel confident in talking about. Like, you can finish that API and you can slap it in your GitHub repository. You can slap it in your My Project section and in your portfolio or something. And there's no like, this is half finished. I swear I'm going to finish it. Like, you have a tangible thing that you did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you need like a server layer for your app, you can just like write a little one and slap it on Heroku. And then you can make like a front end, and then you can just slap that on like a static page hosting, like Netlify or GitHub Pages, but probably Netlify, because they're doing some really cool stuff. This podcast sponsored by
Netlify.
Not Netlify.
I wish Netlify. Netlify is a good name.
Yeah, I keep emailing them about it, and they just never get back to me.
About changing their name or being a sponsor?
About being a sponsor.
You should change your name to Netlify. I'm waiting.
But yeah, be ambitious, but don't try and do something you know you're not going to finish. Because, again, I've also struggled with that too, where I'm just like, I'm going to make this, and then I put like 8 hours of work into it, and then I get stuck, and I'm just like, fuck it.
My advice would be
Put it in the trash.
in the recycling bin.
Put it in the recycling bin.
My advice would just be find something you're passionate about or that you're interested in specifically.
Like dogs.
Like dogs,
Or
if you really like dogs.
Giant
Or
bombs.
sentiment analysis. Twitter.
Yeah. I'm real passionate about Twitter.
Yeah. Because like that was one thing I had with my CMS was that I didn't have much passion for it. So like I just kind of... I went with it and then eventually I just gave up once I had like the first like level of like this is kind of finished and then I just left it.
Yeah, it's like Zuckerberg. He was passionate about being a creep who ranked girls, and now we have Facebook.
Now we have Facebook, which ranks people as well.
They used to have top friends.
They did. I remember that.
I was on Andy Mason's top
Yeah.
friends, and there's no context to this.
No.
I think I actually brought him up in episode 1.
You did.
So I'm just gonna continue saying his name without providing any context of who he was, but...
Yeah.
We were not close friends. I was very surprised to find out that I had made his top friends list on Facebook. And I sat in there for as long as that top friends existed.
There was some really unhealthy obsessions with the hierarchical structures that top friends Facebooks
It's true.
gave.
Because, like, you would have someone as a top friend, but, like, they wouldn't have you. And you're like, wow, I
Yeah.
didn't realize this friendship was so one-sided.
Like, why is that? Why the fuck am I number 3?
Yeah.
You're my number 1. That's it. You're my number... Now guess
You
what?
were my ride or die.
Guess what? Now you're number 3. And then they got rid of top friends and everyone just started putting their friends as their relatives.
Yeah. That's that's super accurate.
Yeah.
I think my friend Tyler is my dad.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm not even gonna say.
Let's not get into it. Let's not give away our secret relative statuses on Facebook.
I created a Facebook account called The Streets, and then made it my dad on
There you go.
Facebook.
That's
so I
good.
could say I was raised by the streets.
Great. Quality content.
I made a lot of fake Facebook accounts.
You did. I'm jealous that you did.
Yeah,
Are they still up? I
think so.
I'm surprised they haven't been taken down at this point. I feel like they're a lot stricter about fake accounts, whether it's for jokes or not.
There was a weird time where a small circle of my friends were constantly making fake Facebook accounts, and every morning I'd wake up to friend requests from just... It got more and more obscure. Like, it started with just normal things, and then it just devolved into, like, television characters, but, like, their names from the show. So, like, Wilson, the neighbor from Home Improvement.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
That'd be my top friend on Facebook.
If Top Friends came back.
Yeah, top friends came back.
Number 1.
I'd find that account and then I would add it, move it there.
I think, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character from Last Action Hero.
Man, you guys have really got some bangers of some characters too.
Both Hal Jordan and Joanne McLeod from Body Break, which I believe was solely a Canadian thing, and it was the set of commercials to promote activity. Mm-hmm. And then Hal Johnson and Joanne McLeod. They were the hosts of Body Break, and they would just give activity tips. Either way, Facebook accounts for both them.
Yep, perfect.
It's amazing how far I've come.
Yeah, from making fake Facebook accounts to making
a
sentiment.
podcast.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, sure, that's good. Podcast is one big reoccurring side project that will never end.
That's true. Yeah, this is a side project.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be an app. It'd probably be more beneficial to make it. I don't think this podcast is helping us at any point.
You could keep your integrity and your dignity.
Yeah.
Unlike us, we've reached new lows, but not low as episode 4, hopefully. So, I think we can just wrap it up.
Okay.
I think we can wrap it up.
Do you have any tips for side projects?
My only tip was just finding something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at finding side projects, so
That's a good tip, though.
I have no business really giving anyone advice about finding side projects.
But if you just need projects for the sake of building on a portfolio, then just, I don't know, just
I
find
mean,
someone else's idea and then...
You can even just take that idea and just divulge it into whatever you need it for. And when I say passionate, I mean like it can be in a framework or a language that you enjoy writing it in, or it can just be the content that the content you're doing it around, the application around. That's what I did with that Gatsby Bomb thing. Was I liked using Gatsby and I liked Giant Bomb's content, so I wanted to build a little app for them.
Yeah.
for myself.
Yeah, just do something you'll enjoy.
Yeah.
Or don't. Just do something to get a job. I don't care.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah. I'm not your boss.
Yeah, don't even listen to the podcast. Just do what you do.
I'm not your father, the streets.
All right, let's move on to the next section.
Is that the outro?
No, it's the shout-out section.
Oh.
There's no shout-outs today.
Yeah, maybe we should just scrap that.
No, I'm going to make the section because we had episode 3. I was so happy. We had a shout-out and we had some other ones we pulled into the section, but I'm just going to make a section about it.
Yeah.
And if no one gives shout-outs, then I'm just going to be sad and say...
So you're not embarrassed by saying every week that we've received 0 engagement from the audience?
No, because I'm just going to make any of our audience feel guilty about not wanting a shout-out.
Do you think it makes them feel guilty? Or do you think they're just like, wow, maybe I should stop listening to these guys, and
really
start listening to JS Party?
Yeah, they might do that. They're like, wow, these guys are really desperate.
I bet JS Party gets shout-outs.
I bet they do. Actually, I don't know about that. I've listened to a little bit of JS Party, but now we'll go to the outro. So, if you have any side projects that you want to talk about, or
if you got any real dumb stuff, I would love to see it.
Yeah, we would love to get, like, whether it's a story about it, whether it's a direct link you have of a side project. If you want to share any funny stories about a side project,
I'd love to start, like, a dumb project of the month club.
Oh, that'd be great. If we could do that, that'd be great.
It's like a book club, but, like, shittier.
Just a bunch of shit posters in a circle, just showing their stupid fucking apps that they made.
Instead of, like, having a nice discussion.
One that I had that I didn't mention, which is kind of shit posty, was I just made there's a YouTube clip of Vince McMahon yelling "You're fired," and I just made a full page, like, auto-playing video of just that.
It was wonderful.
On a loop. Thanks, Netlify, for drag and drop hosting. It wouldn't be possible without that.
I remember I used to own the domain stop, drop, shut 'em down, open up .shop.
Yeah.
And I just had a embedded video of Rough Riders Anthem by DMX. And that's
good.
all it was. But I lost that domain.
Aww.
It was too expensive to renew.
I bet.
It was like $35 to renew. I'm like, I don't think this joke is worth $35 a year.
It's because you didn't have a Patreon page specifically for that page.
GoFundMe, a Kickstarter.
I
run every year. My goal is $35, and that's just to keep my stupid domain up.
Could you imagine the video for that? Like the promotional video for, like, the Kickstarter? Like, you get really emotional with it.
Yeah. I don't even know what my, like, tiers would be.
If you paid $10,000, well, then you get a one-on-one meet with DMX. We'll find a way. For $10,000, we'll find a way.
Listen, I don't want to make any assumptions about DMX's current financial situation, but I think last time I checked, he had a net worth of negative $13 million. So I think he might do it.
Yeah, all right. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, anyway, if you have any stories or side projects, if you want to start a side project club, you can mention or DM us on Twitter at DevPlebs. That's where we're most reachable and have most visibility if anyone wants to talk to us.
Yeah. Or, like, flirt with us.
Yeah, you can flirt with us. You can slide into our DMs if you like. You can do whatever you want. You can give us hate mail, too, if you want.
You can be like, I really hated that time in episode 5 when you were talking about sentiment analysis and you used the example, I want to suck that.
Yeah. Please stop using examples like, I want to suck that.
Yeah, please do not ever use suck as a verb.
Yeah. If you want to give us any hate mail about how bad episode 4 was, go for it.
Listen, it wasn't that bad. There's a really great part where we spent way too long talking about abs.
Yeah, and this week didn't have any abs.
It didn't.
You can also tell us how good episode 2 is. I don't think enough people have listened to episode 2. We have a lot of listens in episode 1 compared to 2, and it makes me a little sad. Because episode 2 was good.
Listen, you can't just wipe your entire history from the... Like, I've deleted a lot of these podcast episodes. I think we talked... Actually, here's a win of the week. We now have more successful podcast episodes than unsuccessful
That's
ones.
true, we do. We finally did it.
The ratio is finally in our favor.
We're winning. Take that.
Take that, someone. Anyways, yeah, that's the podcast for the week.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks, Keith.
Thanks, Phil. See you next week.
On Friday.
And if I don't see you